I wanted to share some experiments that I've been doing with the amazing sweet potato. Along with bananas, I think that this is the easiest and most prolific plant to grow in the tropics. The good thing is that it can be grown in temperate climates as well. You just need to grow it as an annual rather than as a perennial like I'm doing here. But here are a few different techniques that I have been working on to try to use sweet potato in a lot of different great ways.
What I want to do is take scrap remnant pieces of heat treated pallet lumber that I've disassembled. So what I'm going to do is make a plant box out of some remnant pieces I have and make a 19-inch square box. I want to plant it out to sweet potatoes. So this is what happens when you put a sweet potato in some potting soil and it rains a lot. So this has been in there for maybe about a month. So I want to create a big box with a lot more space. Where we are here, there seems to be quite a bit of problem with boring type insects. There's some grubs and some other problems in the soil, and I think these root vegetables are getting eaten in the ground. So what I want to do is take a box and get it off the ground a little bit. The other point of this experiment is that not everybody has land, not everybody has space, but I think a lot of people have the energy and the will and access to pallets and maybe a patio space. So I want to take this, I want to make this box, raise it off the ground a little bit so it doesn't have direct access to the soil, and try to get a good crop of sweet potatoes out of it. All right, it has been a few months, and you can see there's a lot going around that wasn't here when I first put this in. So the only thing that I have done with this is watered it. I added a little bit of pelleted chicken manure, I think once a few months ago, but other than that, fairly minor. So I've let it dry out a little bit. I haven't watered it in a few days, which is why it's kind of wilting back a little bit. If I douse this with water, it would be doing fine.
You can actually see that there's a lot of sweet potato in the beds here. This is just a couple of slips that I put in that really took off. So the alternative to the sweet potato box is that I put a couple of slips in this bed as well. So this is a about 12-inch high bed, and it's really just mulch in here. There's no soil. There's a dripper line, but not actually even watering the sweet potatoes. It's only watering the plants. So there's like tea there. This is ginger. Under here are some other things. So like this, which is actually doing really well, is an arrowroot plant. It's actually been able to thrive finally, now that I think it's getting some protection from the sun thanks to the sweet potato. So the sweet potato's done a great job as a cover crop. What the actual tubers look like out of this bed. So but they're enormous. So this one's not that enormous. But notice the difference in color. So that to these, and may not be showing up very well on the camera, but this guy is a little bit paler. And then I'll just pull out another one. I've just been cutting it back kind of on a weekly basis. On Saturdays I come out and then just sort of just trim out the bed and either eat the leaves, which are edible, or throw them in the compost bin. But within the bed are things like this. That is enormous. So these are small. These are very small, and maybe it has to do with the confined space. I think they're really healthy, but this guy's a beast. This guy's pretty big. That whole area was 1 or 2 slips that I put in a few weeks ago. They'll go crazy, so I'm trying to manage them. I think it's actually pretty good for the surrounding plants. It keeps the soil cooler. It keeps a little bit of the moisture in the soil. So I'm going to keep working on the sweet potatoes as a cover crop, but just knowing that I have to carefully manage them. I think the sweet potato box was pretty successful. If that's the only space you have, that's good, and I would just expect slightly smaller sweet potatoes, but all in all, pretty great results.